All right, guys, in this video here, we're going to talk about the dynamic warm-up and the importance of running a well-structured warm-up program at the beginning of every practice and every game. Remember, our warm-up is to set the tempo for practice. It's to get the kids locked in, get them focused, and ready to work. The last thing we want to do as coaches is just send the kids down the line and say, go get loose, because that turns into madness. Kids start throwing the balls all over the place. Kids don't get warmed up and stretched out properly. They might get hurt, and really it's just a little bit of chaos down the line. So we want to make sure we set them up in the beginning of practice. You can see behind me I have cones set up here. A good idea on the very first day is get 5 or 6 cones and assign 2 to 3 kids at each cone. Next step would be to assign a leader each practice. We like assigning leaders because it gives different kids an opportunity to take on that leadership role and run the dynamic warm-up or run the stretch. And then they're going to go through a full warm-up program. We're going to walk you through that next. So the purpose of our dynamic warm-up is to set the tempo to get the kids locked in and focused for that practice or that game. All right, coaches, so after you've gone through your plan for the day, you've sat down, you've talked to your team, we send them down the line to get loose. Now that we have our cones set up, we have 2 to 3 kids at each line. We can assign a new leader to take them through the stretch. And there's no correct order to this. We just want to make sure we break a sweat, we get their bodies loose, and we get ready to roll for practice. So I'm going to walk you guys through a couple examples of what we have listed in our program. The first one is just jog it down and back. You can have the kids go one at a time. So if you're 3 deep, the first group you clap, that first group jogs down. Next group clap, jogs down. Next group clap, jogs down. We want to make sure we do it in order so we have the entire line running at once instead of just kids jogging all over the place. The next one is high knees. So high knees, again, our kids are in a line. We're going to work on getting our high knees up about waist height. We're going to work about to 30, 45 feet and then jog it out the rest of the way. So again, we want to get as many high knees in as we can. So we're going high knees. Once we get about halfway, then it's a nice easy jog the rest of the way out. Next up, we have butt kicks. So butt kicks, we're trying to take our heels to our butt. As many reps as we can for that 15, 30, 45 feet, and then we're gonna jog the rest of the way. So we're pumping the arms, butt kick straight up. About halfway, we're gonna jog it out. Next up, we have side shuffle. You'll see a lot of kids when they side shuffle, they hop up and down like this. We wanna make sure we stay low. Try to keep your head on the same plane the entire time. So when we shuffle, we're not clicking our feet and we're not hopping up and down. We're staying nice and low right here, and we're shuffling about halfway and then jog it out. Next up, we have karaoke. Karaoke, similar to a side shuffle, but we're gonna take our back leg, we're gonna cross it over the front, then we're gonna step, then we're gonna cross it behind, and then step. I'm walking through it in slow motion. So full speed, it's gonna look like this. We're taking our rear leg, crossing over. You can swing your arms here. You'll see a lot of the younger players struggle with this. They're not coordinated, but remember, it's step over, then step behind. Next up, we're gonna work on walking Frankensteins. We're gonna take our left hand, touch our right toe. Right hand, touch the left toe. And we're gonna walk it out. You'll really start to feel a stretch in your hamstrings. Again, trying to get up probably about shoulder height, opposite arm to opposite foot. About 15, 20 feet out, same thing coming back. Another good one is the single leg RDL. That's where we pick one leg, we step out with the left, and nice and slow, we reach down and we touch our toe with our opposite hand. You'll notice my opposite leg is kicking straight back, and you really start to feel a stretch in that front leg, hamstring and calf. All the way down. You can go 15, 20 feet out, same thing coming back. Next one is gonna be a quad pull with a raise. So I'm grabbing my right foot, I'm reaching up with my left hand, and I'm extending up on my toe. Take a couple steps, quad pull, reach up on the toe. And you're just gonna alternate on the way down. Next up, we have knee pulls. So again, we're gonna alternate legs. We're gonna start with the right leg up. We're gonna pull it into our chest or into our belly. Take a couple steps, really pull up. Next one's gonna be back pedal or backwards run. You see a lot of players will stand up tall and they'll almost lean backwards. Some of the younger players will actually fall. We wanna make sure we keep our shoulders over our toes and we really focus on reaching back as we're running backwards. So I'm leaning forward and I'm reaching back as I'm running down. You can incorporate that just all the way down. You can have them switch halfway and sprint the rest of the way, or you can have them go about 20 feet and then sprint back to the line. A good one to finish with is get out to a lead, focus on a good secondary lead, and then a sprint. At this point, the legs are pretty loose, so we're gonna get to our, depending on what age, if we're younger and we're still on the base, we're gonna start with our left foot on the bag. We're gonna take 2 shuffles, followed by a sprint. If your players are on the 50-70 field and they're leading at this point, you can have them all start heels on the bag. They get out to their lead. They get here, and when that coach says go or claps, 2 shuffles and a sprint. All right, guys, so remember, good dynamic warm-up program. Sets the tempo for the day, it gets the blood flowing, and it also gives different players an opportunity to speak up and kind of take on that leadership role from week to week. There's no correct order to do it, but make sure that you guys have a well-structured warm-up where they're down the line getting loose for at least 5 to 10 minutes every day before they pick up a ball and start playing catch. Use the cones, assign new leaders each day, and have fun and set the tempo for practice.